Hello, welcome to Rebreak Radio episode 23. I'm Dennis, and today we're going to talk about a bunch of Nintendo Switch stuff. It's basically an entire retrospective of the Switch so far. We're going to talk about the NX, the Switch, and the future of the Switch itself. Today I am joined by Stampy.
Howdy everyone, happy Texas Independence Day. So now you know what day this is recorded
on. Ben.
Hey.
And Eric.
Hello.
So this will be a 4-person podcast. We'll see how it works. Anyway, let's start by... We're gonna skip the review section altogether, so sorry, but we're taking away the right for you to hear what games we've been playing. I'm sorry, it's really terrible. But let's talk about the Switch, right? So let's get into the inception of the Switch itself, which was as the
Good
NX. So it started out as the NX. It was revealed by Satoru Iwata as like yeah, R.I.P. Satoru Iwata, you were a great man.
Miss him.
He was kind of mentioned during the reveal that Nintendo was going to start making mobile games. So the NX, the name of the NX was first dropped during this presentation. And Satoru Iwata later clarified that the reason it was mentioned here was to make sure that people didn't think that that Nintendo was gonna only do mobile
People wouldn't
games.
freak the fuck out.
Yeah, because if they didn't mention their core,
by the way, we got a new console.
People would have thought like, oh shit, is Nintendo only gonna make mobile games now? Yeah. So yeah, that's when we first heard about the NX name. There was just like a bunch of different rumors, and nothing was really clarified. Like we didn't really get any substantial information. And but then a very interesting thing happened when Nintendo released before that they released what's it called, a patent that was kind of the first indication that the Switch wasn't going to be a regular game console, because in the patent we could see that it was not going to use an optical disc drive. And it was actually going to use cartridges instead. So that was very interesting. And everyone's like, oh my god, what's this going to be? And obviously everyone immediately went to like, oh my god, we're going to get SNES/N64 style disc cartridges. But I immediately went to DS style cartridges. And a lot of other people that actually...
I wanted a giant N64 with a screen. It's just this giant cartridge hole. Shove shit in there.
Well, I remember even predating the patent coming out, and people were so about this NX that I remember there were rumors about it being like a phone that they were going to have these mobile apps on, that the NX was like Nintendo Cross. They were going to release their first party stuff
that
on
was
PlayStation and Xbox, and it was going to be this huge thing.
A phone.
I mean, do you really want a Nintendo phone?
No, it doesn't have voice chat.
Yeah.
I did. Okay, yeah.
Can't call people on it.
No one uses the phone. Look, I didn't want the NX to be a phone. I wanted... Because, like, what are the two things, at least in America, what are the two things you see most commonly? You see someone holding a DS and an iPhone. And I'm looking, and as someone is marketing minded, I'm looking at that like, someone needs to connect that shit, put a SIM card in a DS, and it's just over. It's over. Nintendo owns everything. They need to make money back, but then they made the Switch, and they made all that money back anyway. But I'm sitting here, I'm like, the Wii U was such a disaster that you need to make all that money back. It's like, what do we do? How can we do it? And I'm seeing people with DSs and phones, and I'm like, what if you just, put those two fucking things together? God, that would have sold so well. But yeah, I wanted a phone so bad.
So after this patent came out, they released another patent, which was of this kind of odd-looking game device that looked like an oval thing with a screen all over it, and it didn't have any physical controls other than two scroll wheels.
Powered by magic and hope.
Yeah.
And
It was
yeah,
an
so
odd looking thing.
yeah, I think it had two physical analog sticks actually in the screen as like circles like in the screen, which was strange. It was a strange device, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, is the NX?" Like when this patent came out, the internet broke down, and everyone's like, "No,
Yeah.
no."
I remember almost right up until the launch of this thing, everyone thinking, just as it progressively got closer and closer, and even after we saw it, people just didn't think it was going to work. People were like, there's no way it's going to fail. No one's going to buy the gimmick.
Yeah.
And, well, what happened? Nintendo
Yeah.
said, guess what? It's going to work. And it worked.
I definitely
Nintendo's
doubted it
fucking-
was going to be this successful.
I didn't. I immediately thought it was going to be awesome. I mean, not the egg thing. When we got to later, when I saw it, I saw the egg. I was like, "What is this? This is stupid, dadgum Nintendo egg looking son of a bitch. What is this?" But when we got later, when we actually revealed it, I was like,
We'll get
this,
there. We'll get there later.
I can't wait because it's gonna be good. But yeah, the Nintendo egg,
Right.
I don't understand. Was that fake? Was it just a thing that they put up? Was
the
that
patent
a real
was
patent?
real. The patent was real. You know, companies make patents of everything. It was like a few years back. Sony filed a patent on like a DualShock style controller that you could separate into two pieces and use as move controllers. So, you know, companies like make patents of things all the time. So, but
That could work.
yeah.
And
So-
Nintendo is still re-upping that Eternal Darkness copyright and never doing another game just because they can.
So then a few months or like a few weeks, maybe months pass, and obviously there were rumors and speculation everywhere about what the Switch will be, and then this very weird prototype, quote unquote prototype, showed up. And it looked exactly like that patent did a few like a month or weeks ago or whatever it was, and that was that huge leak, the fake leak of that device that had that was the same oval shape. It had scroll wheels as the shoulder pads, and it had analog sticks, and it was weird. What do
People
you?
go to great lengths to like fake stuff.
Yeah, what were your reactions to seeing this device?
This is the first point where I was like, oh no. Nintendo, they're going down a road that they don't want to go down. It looked so real, and I was just like, it's a little too good to be real, but if it was, I was going to be completely disappointed. I lost a lot of faith, I'm going to be honest.
I didn't believe it. Nintendo leaks certain stuff, but in terms of like straight up hardware, if that would have happened, you would immediately known it was real if it got out there because a fucking SWAT team would have showed up. Nintendo guards their stuff real like heavily. Remember when they did the 3DS thing and it's like we're going to give 3DSs out for you to test and they're going to be attached to women so you don't run off with these damn thing. Like that's when we got over a day and Nintendo hadn't commented, I'm like that thing's fake. Because there's no way Nintendo would have sent a death squad to his house. Like they would have found that thing and burned it like in Fahrenheit, 451. Like it'd have been gone. But at the same time, I'm like, if that is somehow real, that is stupid looking. Like it just made no sense. It was how do you hold this thing?
Do you remember like the speculation and conspiracy theories that went on around this thing? Basically, like there was one of the photos where it was laying like on the foot of a monitor or something like that, or maybe it was like next to a computer monitor, and it was like on a black table, and there were like keyboards and stuff like that there, and so people started speculating like where is this, and someone thought it was at Massive Entertainment in Sweden, which is owned by Ubisoft. So because there was a reflection of a tree on the foot of
that's
the
right,
monitor.
the tree.
They Google Maps that shit. They
Yeah.
figured it out. They got GPS coordinates and everything, man.
Yeah, it was real crazy. And I also think the keyboard was a Swedish keyboard, so that was why they started looking at Swedish developers. But I'm not sure about that. But anyway, like it couldn't have possibly been massive if the keyboard wasn't a Swedish keyboard anyway. So, but yeah, somehow they kind of speculate like, oh, it's massive, and Ubisoft has dev kits, and they leak this shit and all that stuff. But obviously, like I don't know if it was a week or a few days later or something like that, the creator of the device came out and said this is fake. And I believe he was from Sweden or Norway, like a Nordic country, somewhere around here. Um, and I mean, it would make sense if his keyboard was a Swedish keyboard, right? So, not sure about that though. Don't quote me on that. Anyway, I do remember that his name was like Jacobson or something like that. So,
My favorite thing about that is everyone thinking it was like a dev kit or something like that. It's like, well, of course it'd be a dev kit. It's coming out later because they announced the release date for this thing really early before we saw it, before it had a name. They said it was going to be in March, and everyone was like, really? And remember, we didn't get the reveal. I mean, we'll talk about that later, but until right before it. So I remember when the speculation was getting real heavy. Everyone's like, yeah, it has to be dev kits. It has to be dev kits. Now I know. Now Nintendo can give shit to anybody. Like it's like, no, there were no dev kits. Like it kind of took the industry by surprise. Even though it's one of those weird things that can surprise you while at the same time having a release date.
yeah,
Like it's like we don't know what it is or when it's gonna come. Except you do know when it's gonna come. It's gonna be in March. But it's like we don't know what's gonna show up. But yeah, I remember that stupid egg thing.
yeah.
Why did the dude do it? Why?
I mean, it's
What?
fun, right?
Why?
Yeah.
I guess if you're bored and mean, like, what is the? I mean, kicking a dog's fun if you're an asshole, but like, what's the purpose for this? I'm going to spend time and build this fake Switch.
He's got to use his 3D printer for something.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
My
there was.
This
This isn't necessarily Switch, but I remember when Smash Brothers for the Wii U and 3DS was coming out, there was a guy that did that leak where Raymond
Yeah, I was actually gonna bring this up.
what was coming out,
Yeah, that guy
and
is
he
called,
launched.
He calls him Artsy Omni, and I'm actually a big fan of him. And
Yeah, he's awesome.
I follow his.
He launched his YouTube channel with that leak because people started following him.
It's an awesome.
That's how you
channel.
do it. That's how you do it.
But basically, what and he's talked about this multiple times. I watched some streams and podcasts and stuff with him, and he basically said like there were so many leaks coming out, before Smash Bros, 3DS and Wii U, and he was like, these leaks are all really bad, and he's like, I bet I can make a better one, and he did. The Rayman leak was flawless. It was the best leak of
he had
all
him
time.
on the animated character select screen of the game.
Yeah, he spent like days working in After Effects, altering footage from the game to actually place Rayman in in the character roster and all that stuff, and he re-engineered like basically everything. It's so well done. If you're more interested in that, he actually has like a making of video on his channel where he shows exactly how he did everything. It's really, really fascinating.
That leak was amazing. It's not my favorite. I mean, it's favorite in terms of how real it looked. My favorite was Goku because it was just like an image crop from the show, and he was standing next to Mario. And it was great. Just Goku standing next to Mario. It's like Goku's in Smash. I'm like, what? And you can see like the cutout from the show. You can see it around him. It was. Oh, God.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the best leaks of all time. Really, really fake leaks of all time. Really well done. And I would say that this one, even though the basis of the product itself is kind of like not, it was just of a patent that Nintendo just kind of filed for whatever reason. But like the production of the device itself was actually really good. Like it looked real. It looked like a real device. Obviously, it doesn't really make any sense that they would actually have a finished device that early. But yeah, I think he did it pretty much. I don't think he had like any mistakes really in his leak because there wasn't really anyone that proved it to be fake until he said it was fake. It was just people saying it was either fake or it was either real, Like, I don't really remember anyone actually proving that it was fake.
Yeah, no, I can't think of anything in particular, and that's why people were really buying it because there was nothing in there that was like, well, it, this could be wrong. It was like nothing like that ever really came up.
Yeah, it's really well done. So yeah, the Rayman leak and the NX leak definitely up in the upper echelon of fake leaks. But yeah, I think it was. I don't know. I don't remember exactly which one came first. It was either the announcement or well, the rumor or whichever that um that Nintendo has sent out dev kits to developers, or if the announcement that the NX was not going to be at E3. These two announcements was I believe around the same time. But yeah, I mean the dev kits one is not really interesting. So what was your reaction when Nintendo explicitly came out and said that we're not going to show the NX or any games for it at E3 2016?
I think at that time I thought it was pretty clear it was going to get delayed. Like there's no way it's coming out the next year.
Yeah,
then
right. And
they're not going to show it at all.
They also announced at the same time that Breath of the Wild was coming out in 2017. And that
Did they?
Breath of the Wild was gonna be the focus of their E3. But yeah, that was the entire announcement, I believe. Yeah, it was like 1, NX not coming out this year. 2, Breath of the Wild's coming out on Wii U and NX next year. And 3, Breath of the Wild will be the focus. Pretty much the only thing we're showing at E3.
It looked pretty sad at the time. If you remember,
Yeah.
It was like, oh, they're only showing one game. Even if
Yeah.
it's on the NX, you're not showing your new stuff. You're just showing one thing. It's kind of a doom and gloom situation.
Yeah, it was very
Yeah.
depressing. I remember like thinking, like, oh man, because I was so excited because it made so much sense that they were gonna show all of their NX games at E3 there. And I remember talking to my friends like, fuck, I'm so fucking disappointed. Like, I just want to see it, and it's been years since something on that level of excitement had happened, and yeah, it was just a bummer. Um,
I mean, even for like a huge Zelda fan, like I'm giant into Zelda, like all the games and everything. When they showed that game like 3 days straight, you just get sick of it.
But I think
Yeah.
that's what sold me on it though, because it's like we're gonna focus on one game. Fine, I can live with that. And they did those streams, and I didn't watch 20 hours of the game, but I sat there and I picked moments and I watched so much of it, and it was a kind of an interesting way to show off a game. I'm like, no, this is how you're actually gonna play it when you get home. Here's an hour of gameplay of like real, actual gameplay, not tailored vertical slice. This is
Yeah.
the game. It was really nice to
Yeah.
see.
No, I'm
Yeah,
with
that
you
was
on that, but it was a point where I was like, the second that I saw the first trailer, like years and years ago, I was like, I'm gonna buy this. I'm gonna play it.
Sure.
It's gonna be amazing. And I was just like, I don't know. It personally for me, it was just like I just want it. I want to have it. I want to play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, then right, so then we came into the summertime, like, because the Switch was eventually announced in October of 2016, I believe.
Yeah, it was October, November.
Yeah,
somewhere in there.
and between the point of E3 and the announcement, one very, very huge leak happened, and that was that Eurogamer came out and basically said exactly what the Switch is gonna be. And later on, Let's
Well,
Play Video
Eurogamer's
Games.
always on top.
Yeah. And then Let's Play Video Games, specifically Laura Kate Dale, huge in like the Switch leak community. She came out and also like she basically like quote unquote confirmed their leak, and also added that the detachable controllers were gonna be motion that they were gonna have motion in them. But yeah, so the Eurogame leak basically showed like a smartphone or like a small tablet style device that would have a kickstand and two detachable controllers. And wow, like it was so on point. It was so like it showed exactly what the Switch is gonna be. Do you guys remember this leak?
Yep.
I don't remember this one specifically, but I remember feeling towards the end of summer that there was no way that the Switch was going to be anything except this like weird detachable controller thing. I don't specifically remember the Eurogamer leak though.
I remember the Eurogamer leak not only because I frequent Eurogamer, but because I believe it's either Laura or somebody
Laura
showed up on the somebody. I'm sorry, on the somebody. I don't know why I said that. On the Super Best Friends cast, like with Matt and Pat and Wooly and all them. They were talking about it in the huge leak, and on their podcast, and they just went into all the detail, and it was like, well, I can't reveal any sources, but yeah, this thing's real. And when Eurogamer, when they publish something, it's usually right. They don't like to they don't jump on speculation.
Yeah, Eurogamer is a very credible source.
And they just got sold not too long ago. That's something that
I heard that. Yeah.
I don't know how that's gonna work.
Yeah, it was. I don't remember the company that bought them, but it was like, yeah, Eurogamer and Digital Foundry, and I'm like, oh.
It's like everybody you could trust is bought now.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't remember my reaction to the leak. But so I can't really comment on that. But yeah, so that happened, and then I believe it was fairly quiet up until the finally the reveal of the NX reveal trailer, right? Like there was that tweet that Nintendo America put out with Mario behind like a shower curtain or something like that.
Yeah, Nintendo's tweet game has definitely gone up with the directs. Because before it used to not be so good. I remember. It's when they tweet now, it's people wondering, are we gonna get like another direct or another lead, some big, or are we gonna get when they meant to say Wiggler Wednesday and said something else by accident?
Oh God!
Oh God! Oh man, that was great.
Yeah.
Wait.
So yeah, what were your reactions when you saw that the announcement tweet?
I remember it was gonna come out, and I was like, man, I'm gonna be in class, like I'm gonna miss the live thing, and I don't do this often. I feel like I'm an okay student, but I sat in the back of the room that day. I pulled out my phone, and I was just kind of doing one of the side eye, looking at it, and I was hard to contain myself.
Yeah, I remember seeing the announcement and being so ridiculously excited. It wouldn't surprise me if I weren't able to sleep that night. I'm usually not very good at sleeping when it comes to me being.
I remember
very
people
excited
being
about
like,
things.
"Who's gonna bring this to a party or something like that? No one's gonna do that. That's rude."
Yeah, we'll
and
get,
I'm like,
we'll
"You're
get to,
so full
we'll
of
get to the
shit."
actual announcement trailer. Anyone still have anything to say about the tweet itself?
Oh, I thought we were. I don't know why I thought we were on the trailer already.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was on trailer talk. Sorry.
All right. Yeah. All right. So let's get to the trailer itself. So the trailer comes out, and
Woo!
like immediately you see like this guy sitting on a couch with this weird controller in his hands. Like, oh, what is this controller, right? And he's playing Zelda on the TV and all that. And then he walks up to the TV. And the first mind blow moment happens. He removes the controllers from the grip. And everyone's like, holy shit, what's going on? And then he takes the controllers and he puts them on the system, which obviously kind of looks like a console at this point, especially since you're kind of quickly glancing at it. And then he lifts it out of the dock. And I'm like, holy shit, just 3 mind blow moments at the same time. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
It was an amazing moment. I'm not gonna lie, and it's like from the very beginning of the trailer, it's like, oh, Nintendo's being serious. Like this isn't a normal like Nintendo like campy trailer. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
They showed an unannounced Mario game in the trailer and didn't even talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, they were going all in on this. Because that woman was playing Mario Odyssey, and everyone was like, what the fuck was that Mario game? And Nintendo was like, I don't know. What are you talking about? Skyrim's coming, though. They're like, what? And then, and Skyrim shows up, and everyone's like, oh!
I remember Skyrim being the big thing. You're like, really? Bethesda's on this?
Yeah.
Portable?
Yeah,
Little did we know just how like on this Bethesda was, and then Bethesda's like, you get Skyrim, you're getting Doom, and by the way, Wolfenstein's coming, and we're like, what?
Like, really?
Holy shit!
I believe
that's insane.
I believe the next scene in the trailer is when there's someone sitting in the car with it, and he's playing Skyrim, and that's when we get this kind of this trip from this guy who's playing Skyrim in the car. He goes to the airport, and that's where he sits down with this girl who also has a Switch, and that's the first point when everyone's like, no one's gonna bring their Switch around, right? And then obviously that's exactly what happens. But then he gets on the plane, he keeps playing Skyrim on the plane, and then he lands, and he gets back to his house, and that's when he docks his Switch and starts playing Skyrim on the TV.
The only unbelievable part of this trailer now is those guys playing 2K. Because it's like, it just not going to run that well. It's like, it's like, however, I've watched people try to play 2K on the Switch. They're just like, they want it to work. Please, come on, please. I want to play basketball in the park. And it's like, well, you could just literally go play basketball. But no, fuck that. I want to be Kevin Durant. But it's like, that's the only part of this trailer that today is not believable, because we know how 2K runs on the Switch now, and it's not the Switch's fault. It's 2K.
The concept still works, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's as much about the game as it is like there's a bunch of people. You can all have this controller to share with your friends. You play it.
Yeah.
Well, at the time, people were like, "There's no way this is real footage, because there's no way this little bitty thing can run these magical looking games. There's no way Skyrim is that, and everything like that." And everything but 2K. In that trailer, everything is like that. Everything except one game. Like, they play Mario Kart in a van, and I'm like, okay, I've done that
by
before.
The way,
I did that before the Switch.
Someone actually made that, like, car, like, seat stand thing holder.
Now that you mention it, I haven't seen anything about it, but I also totally forgot about it.
But yeah, so some other scenes, I don't know exactly where they were. As you were talking about the basketball scene, there was also the go-kart scene where people sit in a van, play Mario Kart, and then go-karting. It's just like, all right, cool, I guess.
I would have loved if someone was playing it as they were driving. It's like some bullshit.
And then they showed the infamous Karen scene.
Oh God,
with, this girl who's playing what we now know as Super Mario Odyssey, being specifically in the Sand Kingdom, and she's playing on the TV, and then some people who are like on a roof, like right next to her window, is like saying like, "Hey, come on!" And she brings her Switch with her, and then they start playing a game together, which I assume now she brought out like the co-op feature with Mario and Cappy, I guess.
Now, I never understood. I'm sorry, go Eric.
This is the most unrealistic part of the trailer, because the co-op for Super Mario Odyssey, not great.
Well, yeah. That other than that, I don't understand how people focused on this part of the trailer. I really don't understand what is so wrong with it besides the co-op. You're right on that one.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, no one has roof parties, really? I'm in Texas, and I know that it happens in Houston where there are adjacent lofts. And, like, if you watch any episode of Friends, they're always on the damn roof. Like, that happens. I've been on roofs and stuff, and it's like, why wouldn't someone... I've played fucking Xbox 360 on a roof before. And, I mean, I've done it on, like, a non-apartment roof. I've done it on, like, shingles and shit. It's like, we gotta... I don't know. I'm stupid. But the point is like, I don't understand why people were like, that's the most unrealistic part.
The thing people thought was unrealistic is like, why would she bring the Switch to there and be like the party pooper? You know?
Guys, I got this unreleased Mario game. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah,
I stole this from my cousin.
I'm in Fantasy Mexico right now.
But what is so interesting is that everyone was like, "Oh, this is not gonna happen. This isn't realistic." And when the Switch actually came out later, like, that is exactly what happened all the time. People
fastest sailing game console of all time.
Yeah,
just
just like
People
bringing your
playing it
Switch
everywhere.
somewhere and like being able to play games with other people. It's so nice. Like it's so cool being able to do that. I remember
I
like
played.
bringing one to Switch even to places, and like it's just fun to just kind of bring it out and start playing something together because and what is so different about the Switch, right, is because it's such a social console. And not specifically in the OS, that's not very social, but more the way you play games with your friends. And that's something I really like about the concept of 1-2 Switch. It wasn't like explored as well it should have been, but the game wanted you to not look at the screen. It wanted to look at each other, and that was something that was I thought was really interesting.
Want you to look at each other and then pay it $60. And what?
but
but
yeah, were you gonna say anything?
I was gonna say that I mean, not only have I been playing the Switch out of just my room, I played it 2 days ago in a hospital. I brought it with my sister, not my sister, my brother had a baby,
Right.
and we were there for like 12 hours. We were there for a while, and we were in Houston, and we were bored, and I looked at my wife and said, "Want to play some Mario Kart?" She said, "Fuck yeah, I'll play some Mario Kart." And we moved the table and just sat there and played Mario Kart for a while. But yeah, like it's like that is a possibility now, and it totally happens.
Yeah,
Um,
so awesome.
yeah, but no one's diving across like the living room trying to play Metroid Prime 3 like in the Wii trailer. Remember that shit where you jump? He's like, "Gotta take cover," and he just jumps. I'm like, "You just took out your TV. You're stupid." Or like hiding behind the couch, and I'm like. I'm like, yeah, because that totally makes your character hide behind the couch. No, what it does is the camera is like looking in the corner of the ceiling, and shit can't figure out where the hell you are.
All right. So obviously, and they also showed that esports scene, which was very cool too. And it kind of brought this concept like, oh, you don't actually need to have any kind of consoles there. Like you can just have a dock, and the esports player can just bring their system and just dock it. Like that's a really cool idea, right?
That arena was fake as shit.
Yeah.
That was also they were pushing Splatoon real hard in that trailer. Come on, guys, Splatoon League. Come on,
Actually,
guys.
I remember Game Explain did an interview with with one of the dudes who were on that quote unquote Splatoon team, and I believe he said the arena was real. There was actually
There's
like
no
I don't know if
way.
there was,
No
I don't
That's
know
a
if
high school stadium.
I don't know. I don't know if they were all people there. Obviously, like there could be some like CG people or whatever, but there were at least some people who were like sharing. So I remember, and I might
All
be
Karen.
remembering, I might be misremembering this completely, and so yeah, don't quote me on it. But like, I do remember him saying how it like felt good to like run out into a stadium and like and like be cheered on or whatever. But yeah, I might be wrong about that.
Just two guys.
So next up is the longest 2 months of all time. Longest, or maybe it was 3 months until the Switch presentation. So were you guys just as like anxious to hear what Nintendo were gonna hear during during those 3 months?
Yeah, they did kind of go radio silent, didn't they, for a while?
Yeah,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
it
they
was
didn't say
completely
anything.
silent.
Yeah,
And-
I remember them saying nothing to the point where people were kind of picking apart the original trailer and be like, "Oh, there's no way you could dock it that fast," and all this like weird stuff. And yeah, I think people were really going to be hedging their bets when it came to the actual conference in January.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember being like, "Oh my god, I can't fucking wait!" Like every day, it's like, "Oh my god, I want that fucking Switch."
Counting down the days, man.
Yeah.
Every day. I was still in college at that point. Holy shit. God, it's been a while. Yeah, it huh. Wow, that was a while back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was I just remember like I can't wait to see what they're gonna do, what games they're gonna announce, what's gonna happen for this thing. And announced a lot of games that still haven't come out yet. But you know, I remember. Yeah, it was the longest 2 months. That's basically the only way I can think of putting it. Is
Yeah. All right.
It's just-
Anyone else have anything to say about the these 3 months, 2-3 months of wait?
Mm.
Not really.
Not so much. Not so much.
All right. So let's get to the actual presentation. And obviously, like, it was production wise, it was like very up
Bad.
and down.
Yeah, okay at best.
Yeah. I think like the pre-prepared like videos were like pretty cool. I like the video where Koizumi is like doing the like presenting HD Rumble, and it's like the glass with like the ice cubes in it. I thought that was pretty cool. But
The feature you never knew you wanted. HD Rumble.
I
yeah,
still don't know if I want it.
Oh,
I think
you
the
want
It's
it.
Rumble
cool.
is pretty
It's cool when it works, though. It is really cool when it works.
like fucking 1-2 switch ball count. Oh my god, it really does feel like his balls
it's
rolling
incredible.
around in a box.
You know what?
It's
is-
insane.
What's weird about that is this is not a Switch exclusive thing. Well, the PS4 doesn't have it, but the Xbox One controller has the ability to do that. And I remember when it was being right before it was released, they were
It's
doing
not-
demos and
It's
shit.
not the exact same thing. What?
No, it's
what
not
the
nearly as
Xbox One
precise.
It's
controller
not-
has.
It's
it
not
has,
HD Rumble,
no.
but it's they can do similar stuff. And
Yeah.
I've never seen it used in a game, but they had a demo where it was a heart. And they said, "Here, this is a heart." And they go, "No, it's not. It's an Xbox One controller. What the fuck you mean?" And it gives it to you, and it beats, and you can feel the damn heart beating, but not as pulses, but like how an actual heart beats. You ever see like in a documentary or something, like how a heart moves, and it doesn't just move in one beat. And it kind of jumps around, and you feel it through the controller, and it is freaky as fuck. And I'm like, how does this work? How did you figure this shit out? And they did nothing with it. And then Nintendo kind of similarly did that too. It's like HD Rumble, 1-2 switch, and nothing else has kind of fucking used it. It's like, I wish, not just with the Switch, but I wish more games would do that, because I could think of a lot of different shit that you could do with HD Rumble, or just that, like having to like figure out something,
Yeah.
like what's in this box, shake it like a fucking Christmas present, figure this out. I don't know. I want more games like that.
Yeah, I mean,
especially on the Switch.
What the Xbox One does when it's with its Rumble is that the regular when it comes to the controller, it has regular Rumble motors, but it has more like, I don't know exactly, like some smaller Rumble motors inside the triggers. that
Yeah,
allow to do
it
some
basically
more.
has like different zones for Rumble, and then they kind of rumble more areas than others to kind of get this zeroed in area. And then there are
Well-
small ones in the triggers, for when you play like Forza.
But
and stuff
when
like
it
that.
but
It's
when it
used in
works, when it goes through that whole like heartbeat demo thing,
Yeah.
it is one of the craziest things. And my brain immediately jumps to horror games, which Outlast just came out on the Nintendo Switch, by the way, and I hope they incorporated something. They probably didn't. It's probably just a straight port.
Yeah.
But damn it, like the feeling your heartbeat when it's tense in the fucking controllers. There are some first-person shooters that do that with the Xbox One, and I don't know. I'm like the only one in the world that thinks HD Rumble is like the coolest shit ever that just no one uses.
I really like HD Rumble. But let's keep talking about the Switch.
Well, they talked about it in their presentation for like 10 minutes. That was
It's
the
true.
problem.
yeah.
They did. They were on it, man. They were like, "Look at these ice cubes."
What else can you do? Marbles. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not Zelda.
It's an ice cube, but round. Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, they also showed off like the IR motion camera, which everyone said was like, oh, it's a Wii motion sensor. Like, no, it's a camera. And we actually see now in Labo where like the RC car can actually show like a night vision style camera feed. Now people
I
are
cannot
actually
believe-
understanding that it's a camera and not a sensor.
How many features are in this damn thing that we
Yeah,
just
it's
don't know
crazy.
about?
But yeah, so the games they announced at the presentation, they announced 1-2 Switch, they announced ARMS, they
Splatoon 2.
Splatoon 2. We did know about Splatoon 2, but we didn't know if it was specifically Splatoon 2 or Splatoon Deluxe yet, I believe. But yeah, we
Should've been
did see it
Splatoon.
in the trailer. No, it should have not been
Yes,
Splatoon.
should have been Splatoon. That I don't know if that would have sold in Japan, but that would have worked in America. I guarantee you, we love a gimmick. I don't know how that translation works in Japan, but come on, it's just a great pun. What was that SMT game they announced? That's the game that hasn't really been
Shin
talked about.
Megami Tensei 5, I believe.
Was it just straight up 5, or was it
Yeah,
something else? I thought
it
it was
was
like a
5.
cross something.
No, that Fire Emblem crossover was on Wii U.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, they also showed off Travis Strikes Back, No More Heroes.
Haven't
also
seen much about
revealed-
that.
They also showed off Super Mario Odyssey here, right? Yeah, it was during the.
I think that's
Nintendo
when they officially
presentation.
announced it. Here's this
Yeah.
crazy mystery game.
Yeah, and they showed off like this. It started as this like view of what looked like New York, right, which is New Donk City, and then this car came out, and then Mario comes out. And everyone was like, "What? That's Mario? That's a Mario game?"
Didn't they also announce Xenoblade 2?
Yeah, they
Or
did.
Chronicles 2?
They did,
Yeah.
and they also announced the final release date for Breath of the Wild. And yeah, they also
And-
announced FIFA 18 for Switch.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there were probably some more announcements that I'm forgetting, but
I thought there was something else that was big. What?
Well, there was that one guy that came out and he went off book talking about the game that he was making that didn't have a name or a concept really. But I
Yeah, wasn't
specifically
that-
remember,
Oh, that
Yeah.
was
Suda
Suda.
51?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
one, right.
and then I remember the broadcast, and at least in America,
Oh,
the
man.
translator was super behind. He had no
The
idea what the guy was
translation
saying.
was
The
so
translator
bad.
was awful.
Oh my god, the entire like translation.
It would have
thing
been
was so
better
bad.
as a narration of somebody just being like, dude came out on stage, saying something. Sounds cool. And look, he seems really excited about those ice cubes.
You should be excited too.
Yeah, I haven't gone back to watch it, but I believe I heard someone say that they actually redid all this translation for the on-demand version.
Oh
It's
yeah,
not-
they had to.
Yeah, I
It's
hope they
not
did.
the worst thing. Like everyone's like, it's the worst press conference ever, and I'm like, do you not remember that Konami press conference? Come on,
Oh, no,
everybody!
yeah.
And it's just dead silent.
Yeah, it
No
wasn't the
one's excited.
worst, but it
I don't
wasn't
even think
great.
I think the only thing about it that was really bad was the damn translator who just didn't know. I remember reading the comments because I watched it live, and
Yeah, I
everyone's
did
chatting.
too.
It's like, does this dude know Japanese? I don't think he knows Japanese.
Well, I think the problem was that the people on stage are supposed to have a script, right? And then the translator has the English script. And when the people on stage aren't saying the script, he still needs to translate what they're saying, or they're not saying the same thing.
I would believe that if there were parts of this where obviously no one went off script and he still didn't get it right. He was very, very slow. He didn't know what. So I'm like, what's going on? It was awkward, to say the least. It was.
That's a good word for the entire conference, I think.
Yeah.
I think
I
one
don't
of my
think the rest of
favorite
it was that bad.
one of
No,
my
it was
favorite
bad.
parts of the conference is when the Splatoon director or producer or whatever comes up and he does the pose like Splatoon.
Oh yeah.
And every
I love
time he
that.
said,
He was excited for that.
yeah, and every time he said Splatoon 2, he did that pose like Splatoon 2.
I mean, it was no Peggle 2. Peggle 2! And then he puts his hand up in the air and then walks off stage, and everyone's like, that was fucking weird.
And then also Koizumi sitting on the couch, just kind of awkwardly relaxing back on the couch, demonstrating how you can play the Switch with like separately with your hands. Yeah.
I think Nintendo actually didn't go hard enough on like the awkwardness and stuff. Cause I remember there's one where Reggie's in the video, and like he ends up in different places throughout the video. It's obviously green screen, and
Yeah,
like
that was
he's
at
like at a
E3.
beach. It was E3. I thought that was this one. Oh, fuck.
I think that was the intro to this one, wasn't it?
No,
I thought-
that was at E3 2017, I believe.
Okay.
I don't think Nintendo America had much of an involvement at all in.
I
Oh.
thought. Well,
I guess
I guess I was-
you might be right. Yeah.
because I thought it was the same time when they announced the damn Pokemon. So there's gonna be a Pokemon. Oh no, that was E3.
That was the
That was
E3,
E3
yeah.
for
Yeah,
sure.
fuck yeah. Well, anyway, I was gonna say I thought they should like he ends up in like space and shit. It just gets progressively crazier as it goes on.
Yeah. So after the presentation, we get the second Eternal wait.
Till March.
Yeah, that's when we had to wait from. I believe it was January 15th to March 3rd. So
You are
basically
correct.
a month and a half.
That was the point where it hit me, and I
Yeah.
was like, the days are going by so slow. I'm counting
Mhm.
them down like from
Yeah.
the hours.
Well, I had to wait much longer before I actually got my hands on one. Uh, but I actually bought a Wii U because I was tired of waiting for the Switch.
Hmm.
I bought it because I wanted to play Zelda Breath of the Wild, so I bought a Wii U, and then the hurricane happened, and then I got a bunch of hurricane money because I worked overtime, and I was buying some boots for a wedding, and I got a call from GameStop going, "Hey, a dude just turned in his Switch because apparently he got his wife pregnant and needed some money. So we got one here at the store." And I was like, "I'll be right there." And the person was like, "You want these boots?" I'm like, "No, I want those $80 ones. Take these away. I have to go to GameStop right now." And I went and bought it. And then there wouldn't be another Switch in town until after way after the hurricane because we got a big influx because all the GameStops and WalMarts and anything that had video games was destroyed on the coast of Texas.
Damn.
So yeah,
Yeah, I remember being like so. Yeah, as I talked about before we recorded, like I was so afraid that I wouldn't get a Switch. That I pre-ordered too, and like at least like like multiple times per week, go and like check the order and like look for any kind of proof or confirmation that I'm getting one on day one. And then like I believe like a couple of weeks, maybe a week or something beforehand, you get I think I got like the ship notification or something that from the first retailer that okay, you're gonna get one. So immediately go and cancel the other one, and then yeah, I got it. I got it on day one. So who else got a Switch on day one?
I did, and I also pre-ordered two as well, but simply because I saw. Remember when they did the Majora's Mask 3DS?
Yeah, I
Yes.
have that.
I do as well, and I pre-ordered two of those. But I think it was like an accident or something. It doesn't matter. But this was Best Buy canceled one that I had. So I was really paranoid when the Switch came along, and I'm like, okay, I'm going through Best Buy because of Gamer Club and all that.
you don't
For the
get to be
discounts.
happy.
And I'm just like, this is I I don't know if they're gonna cancel it, and I'm gonna be screwed. Like, where am I gonna find this game? I'm gonna have a Switch game
Yeah.
because they're not gonna cancel Zelda. They're gonna cancel the Switch, and I'm gonna end up with a giant box of nothing. So I was really worried about that, but that all worked out thankfully. And a lot of people that go on Amazon, they got screwed over. They got it like that Monday because it was released on a Friday, and the Amazon bungled a lot of shipments with Zelda or with the
Yeah.
Switch. and-
Amazon is terrible with Nintendo stuff.
Oh,
Why?
yeah.
I don't know, but they are awful with Nintendo stuff and have always been so. I don't know why.
Nintendo
Um,
and Amazon don't get along. Like they didn't used to sell 3DSs or DSs for years. I forget exactly why.
It's another reason to not like Amazon, but yeah.
There you go. But I actually didn't mind the wait because I'm a big Resident Evil fan. So we had Resident Evil 7, and I'm a big like Dark Souls kind of fan.
Oh,
So
God,
Neo
that-
was there in
that did
February.
come out.
So I had two games to take me right to. I finished Neo like 2 days before the Switch got there. Perfect timing.
Yeah, that's the thing. I didn't have anything to play. I was like, fuck, I don't know what to play. Like there's nothing I want to play. And like stupid Sony like fucking oh yeah, we're going to release Horizon like
Yeah, the
days
same week.
before. Like if they had released that like a month before, that would have been great. I would have been able to play Horizon. But instead I didn't play Horizon until like 6 months later. But yeah, I'm not like a horror game fan, so I wasn't playing Resident Evil, and yeah, it was just like a drag because I didn't have anything to play.
I mean, you had stuff to play. You should have
Yeah,
played
but
you didn't
Resident
wanna.
Evil.
Yeah.
You should have. It was great.
Yes.
no, I
Oh,
can't play those kind of games.
It's not that scary.
It's not that scary. No, it's not.
I mean,
It's pretty scary in the beginning, actually. But by the end, you're like, fuck this
Like,
shit. You're just
The
just
first
going through
hour is
people.
scary.
I
That's
back on the Switch. I remember getting my pre-order just like a couple, like maybe like a week after the announcement thing. They went live at GameStop, and I'm from like a relatively well. I mean, I live in Philly, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania now, but my hometown is like a small town. So I figured, I'll pre-order one and they'll be fine. And I actually went, like an hour before on midnight of March 3rd and was like, oh, I'm gonna get my Switch or whatever. And I was the first one to walk out of that GameStop with a Switch and Breath of the Wild, and I was like, I
Nice.
was very proud of that moment.
Nice. Yeah, I think I was like worrying way too much about getting one because it seemed like there were like plenty of people who got their Switch. My friend Adam, who got a Switch on day one as well, he like pre-ordered his probably like 2 or 3 weeks before it came out, and he got his too. So yeah, I don't think the demand for the Switch was as high here in Sweden. So, but yeah, I was still like worried as shit every day. It's like, fuck, am I gonna get one? I can't. Like, there's no part of me that can get a Switch later than release. Like it's not possible. And like, I was not in a financially, I was not in a situation where I could get a Switch. Like, I did not have any income whatsoever, but I had to get it. So yeah,
I
I
so
spending on it.
I was a Wii U person. I had that whole thing. Tragedy, really, but
Yeah, I
I
had a Wii U
squeezed
too.
pennies out of the stuff that I had on Wii U, like games and the console, and I was selling it on Craigslist or eBay or whatever, and I was trading stuff in. I and I put it together. I got my Switch with that, but it was tight, but it was totally worth it.
Yeah. So yeah, so now we're at the Nintendo Switch launch. I suppose I mean, who got it at the launch? I got it at the launch.
Yeah, I did.
Right.
I did as well.
Yeah, so Breath of the Wild. I assume we all got a Breath of the Wild.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so did anyone get anything else at launch?
I got
I
1-2
didn't.
Switch, unfortunately.
Yeah, I got one to Switch like a few weeks later. The only reason I was able to get one to Switch is because I obviously didn't have any money, so I had to like ask my mom to give me money for a game, and the only game I could get her to buy me was one to Switch because it wasn't a single player game, and I needed to have actual people because what I had to do was like actually like apply for jobs and stuff like that. So I weren't I didn't she wouldn't allow me to buy a game or she wouldn't give me money to buy a game where I could actually be distracted from doing what I was supposed to do. But then I said like, oh yeah, this is one to Switch. Like you can't even play it by yourself. So I would actually need
Job.
people to play it with, and that's how I got one to Switch. But yeah,
Mm.
but yeah, I played Zelda for probably 350 hours total, I think, and most of that
Jesus.
was like at launch, from launch to the day Mario Kart 8 came out.
Whole time yelling
I,
about numbers.
I did not play it that much.
I played it that much because I didn't have anything else to play. So, um, but yeah. So who got Mario Kart?
I did not get Mario Kart.
I
Mostly
passed.
because I had it on the Wii U and I'd played it to death. Um,
Oh yeah, I
another
played
one of our
Mario Kart 8
guys,
to the
another one of our guys here got the Switch a little late and he got Mario Kart with it, and he loves it. And I think the game is great, but when I have to like handpick which games I can afford to buy, Mario Kart wasn't gonna be up there.
Yeah. So I got Mario Kart 8, and this is as someone who spent 250 hours in the Wii U version, and I think I have 70 hours in the 3DS in Mario Kart 7. So yeah, I've played a lot of fucking Mario Kart, and and now at this point I've spent I think like 175 hours or something in the Switch version, and most of that was from the release of the game up to Arms. So yeah, I mean this point like 2017 was like in when it ended, it was like a fucking great year. But that was a fucking drag. Just waiting for the Switch, waiting for Mario Kart, waiting for Arms, waiting for Splatoon, waiting for Mario plus Rabbids. It was just months and months and months and months of waiting for games to come out. Holy shit.
But that's also like the perfect formula, right? That's like exactly what Nintendo wanted you to do. They wanted you to keep thinking about the Switch, like, oh, I need to get this next game on the Switch. I need to get that next game on the Switch.
Yeah,
it's exactly what they want.
The unfortunate thing was that like for most of that time, I didn't have any money whatsoever. I couldn't buy any other games. But it was like in May I got a job, so now I don't have a job anymore. But in May I had a job, got a bunch of money, so finally I could actually buy some other games as well. So that's when things started to get a bit smoother, you know. But yeah, so next up is also when was the I mean, I guess Stampy, when did you actually get your Switch?
It was. Well, it was whenever the hurricane was. It was about a week after the hurricane hit, which was. Hold on, let me actually give you a date real quick. I think it was in. It was in August.
All right, so we'll get.
Or it was actually probably September. But yeah.
Yeah, so we'll get to you later. As we're, or if you have anything to say about any of the games that we're talking about now, but we won't really be talking about the games that much. So, who got Arms when that came out, or later, or whatever?
I played I called it Test Fire earlier. What is it actually Test Punch?
Test Punch.
I played the Test Punch and was like, this is fun, but I don't want to run into a 1-2 switch situation where there's just not enough stuff for me to justify buying it, so I did not.
I played a lot of the Test Punch because obviously at the time I didn't have anything else to play, so I had like the scheduled times because it was like 1 hour here, 1 hour there, you know?
Yes.
Like I played every single hour that was available, even if it was in the middle of the night because I didn't have anything else to play. So I was like, fuck, I'm gonna play every single hour of this. And at the end, like if you look at my play timer, it's like, oh yeah, I have 12 hours in the Arms Test Punch. So
I did a similar thing where it was like the hour before I had to go to work happened to be one of the hours, and I woke up early for the days they did the Test Punch just so I could play more of it. Yeah. I haven't been that like taken with a multiplayer game in years and years. I really love the Test Punches.
Yeah, me too.
When they did it,
and it was also just such excitement around it on the internet and that is actually a really good way to do like a beta thing. Like just schedule it during an hour of the day, and that means that literally everyone will play in this hour. It's perfect for stress testing your servers. It's perfect for actually getting players to play together. And I mean, it's a really smart thing actually, and people complain about it a lot. And again, with like the test fire when back on Wii U with Splatoon, but I actually think it's a very smart thing to do because
I like it. It was just they did like 3 days of it. It should have been more hours.
It also makes sure that the players actually don't play too much of it, that they only get like a taste of the game, and it really like guarantees that everyone will have someone to play with. So I think it's actually a really smart concept. It doesn't have to be 1 hour, it could be 2 hours, but like still I think it's a very smart idea.
Yeah, I think the test blank thing that Nintendo does is super smart, and the fact that it is these narrow moments in time where it's like just an hour on a couple different days or whatever is super smart too, because that means that everyone that wants to play it is going to play at exactly this time.
Yeah.
Which gives them a good gauge of like how many people could potentially be playing this, like test the servers like you said.
Yeah, especially since it's free too. Like that really makes there's like no barrier to people jumping in.
And the fact that it's like if it was a week where it was just open, you could play it whenever. It's like, oh, I'll download it. I might play it a little bit here or there. It's like, oh, you're probably not going to play it that much. But if they say you only get these exact like 12 hours, you're going to like carve out the time. Yeah. The hype around it is going to be so much better because you're going to carve out the time exactly to play just this.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So after the test punch happens, we get to E3 2017. I would say probably one of the most hype events of all time. So
Potential for hype was high.
yeah. So obviously Nintendo had their awesome spotlight presentation or like video with where as Stampy talked about before, where you had Reggie on this like green screen thing
Phasing
going
through
on.
time and
Yeah. So they obviously announced like they talked more about Super Mario Odyssey. They probably showed like a trailer of Arms or whatever. They showed some more Splatoon 2 stuff, and obviously the biggest announcement I would say of that show was Metroid Prime 4, and that was a pretty hype trailer.
It wasn't
had
even
the
a
logo.
trailer. Yeah.
I mean, it was an announcement, but yeah, like seeing people's reactions to that, I was like, holy shit! And Nintendo always have screenings of their like directs and stuff at the the store in New York. And I always like to like watch back and see the reaction of like a group of fans just standing there watching the presentation in Nintendo's headquarters and seeing like the employees stand next to the presentation and all that. It's really cool. But yeah, the hype when Metroid Prime 4 was revealed was this holy shit. Metroid Prime 4.
I think the understated moment of that E3 press conference is when they go to the Pokemon company and the guy sitting at his desk is like, "Yeah, we're making a Pokemon game. It's coming out for the Switch." It's like, yeah, we're doing it. It's whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah. That was all. I mean, they could have done a similarly hype trailer with that, but instead it's like, hey, I work at a Pokemon company, and yeah, we're making a game. Bye.
Yeah, that's exactly how it was.
Yeah.
Imagine like a fucking hype ass trailer with like some kind of CG trailer with Pikachu running through some grass or whatever. It's like Pokemon on Switch, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!"
no, we ain't got time for shit like that. You're making it. Leave us alone.
Yeah. So, what other announcements were there during E3?
Metro Pop 4. Sorry.
Just talked about that one.
I'm
That's
sure
the
there
only
was
one that
like
matters. No, there was.
a ton of indie stuff, probably stuff getting
Yeah.
ported. Octopath Traveler, I think, was here.
Yeah.
Was Traveler? I thought Octopath Traveler was actually announced in the original Switch one.
I
think you might be right.
It's possible.
I think they showed it in like
Because
a scissor reel.
There was this, yeah, because remember this game that everybody was talking about. Remember that 2D game where everything was like 3D and 2D at the same time and it was crazy? I don't think they gave it a name. But yeah, I remember they definitely talked about Octopath Traveler.
I think that's when they dropped the demo, didn't they?
Yes. A really, really great demo.
Yeah, that I don't know if it was at E3 or later, but yeah, they did drop a demo for that. So yeah, and also after the presentation, they announced more games. Like they announced this Metroid Samus Returns for 3DS, and
Mhm.
Oh right,
Oh,
yeah.
people thought it was weird, but I mean, I thought it made kind of sense because they said that the presentation itself were going to focus on the Switch, and all the announcement that came afterwards were 3DS games. So
Didn't they give Mario a release date at E3?
yeah, they did. That was the time when they announced the release date, which was it the
October 27th.
27th?
October 27th, right? And that was that was
Hell
when
day.
they revealed the capture mechanic, the different outfits for Mario, and that was also the debut of
Shirtless
Uh,
Mario.
yeah, but it was
Lips?
no. I think that was actually later. I think that was
Was
later.
it?
Yeah, it was
It may
later.
have been.
But there was also the debut of the vocal track, the song "One Up Superstar." Yeah, I mean that, and
In the air. Their entire E3 thing was 20 minutes long. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Okay,
I
that
mean,
was not long. Wow.
I really like it though. Like it was 20 minutes of just like fucking announcements. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Where it's like Xbox's conference was like an hour and a half, and it's like we've got a car on stage, we've got this thing. It's like we've got this guy shouting at you.
That wasn't this year. That wasn't last year.
Yeah,
That was the year before.
that was
Where the car came from the ceiling.
yeah, but they
Or
had
GT.
they had the porch. that
Yeah,
they
the
showed
Porsche.
off.
They drove it out
yeah,
on
okay,
stage.
they did.
Yeah, and it was like really weird because he kept saying 9/11, and I was like, oh. I mean, it's called the
No,
Porsche 911, but
it's
like,
the Porsche 911.
yeah,
Nobody, I don't think anyone cares.
yeah, but like even that, it's like,
Now,
oh,
if he said never forget, that would have been a big fucking deal. Someone would have tackled him off stage. But like, yeah, the Porsche 911, no, that's not that
yeah.
bad.
I mean, it's a pretty weird name for a car, but
It's weird.
We had Xenoblade, Kirby,
yeah,
the Pokemon thing.
yeah. They also
Metroid
showed
4,
Yoshi.
Yoshi,
Yeah,
DLC for Breath of the Wild,
right.
some amiibo shit, Rocket League, Mario Odyssey, Metroid. Yeah,
Yeah, some
yeah,
pretty
that was
cool,
basically it.
pretty cool.
There wasn't much.
announcements.
20 minutes of get hype and we're gone.
And then they also had their really awesome Super Mario Odyssey stage or a booth thing at E3
The
there. It's like this recreation of New Donk City.
yeah. Did they? Okay, this is the point of clarification. Nintendo Treehouse, is that the booth and like where they stream from it? It's like that whole organization, or are those supposed to be two different things?
Nintendo Treehouse is the it's like a segment of Nintendo of America. That's I believe Treehouse is the actual like studio that does the work, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like,
sure. Okay, cool.
yeah,
It was always
that's
just
where
like one
they
of those things
actually
that they kind of talk about.
yeah, the Treehouse is where they do like the translation work and all that. But what the show you're referring to is Nintendo Treehouse Live at E3, and that is obviously like the group of Nintendo Treehouse doing a live stream at E3.
It's in
Gotcha.
their booth.
But yeah, it's in their booth. Okay.
Yeah.
It's inside their booth. Yeah.
So yeah, they had that really cool Super Mario Odyssey booth, and they also had the ARMS tournament, and also a Splatoon tournament. That was really cool. I really enjoyed watching professional Splatoon there. I haven't watched more Splatoon since, like professionally, but I thought that was really exciting. The commentators were really fucking good at what they were doing, and yeah, I thought it was very enjoyable. And also, they also had that ARMS tournament where the best player got to play against the creator of ARMS. So that was pretty cool. I thought that tournament was really, really nice. And it's really cool how Nintendo have been trying to do something more with E3 the past few years. How they've had like Smash tournaments and all this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to this eventually, but they had like the Nintendo World Championships again in December, right? Just
Yeah.
just a couple months ago.
That's right.
So yeah, next up was we're at E3. Next was Splatoon 2, right? Splatoon or no. Next up is the ARMS actual release of ARMS, which was like just a few days later, I think. It was like
like
June
a week
16th,
later or
I think.
something.
Yeah. Yeah. ARMS. It was just like sadly kind of a whatever release, but it was fun to play, but it wasn't really that hype.
I played so much of it during the beta, like we were saying, that when it came out, I was like, "Oh, this is more," and then it just died off really quickly. Even though I really liked the game.
Yeah, I really enjoyed playing as all the new characters and all the other characters and all that. But yeah, it was definitely like, oh, I played a lot of this in
It's
the
a
beta.
little feature light.
Yeah, it's a shame because ARMS is a really cool game. It's a real cool concept, and it's something that I wanted to kind of see for a while, which is a fighting game that isn't a traditional fighting game, like a fighting game actually trying something different in the genre. So, yeah, I thought it was a pretty exciting game to play.
Well, I know we'll probably talk about this in like future of Switch and stuff, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if Nintendo is like, hey, we made ARMS and it was great, but now here's the sequel to ARMS where we really expand on all the things and give you all the new modes and bundle everything together. I think that's something that's very reasonable.
Yeah. So who's my main in ARMS is Lollipop. But before Lollipop came out, it was Twintel.
Okay.
I do not have a main because I don't have the game.
So Ben, who's your main in arms?
It's been so long. The last time I played it was like the first time they brought out the first DLC character. I went in and played a little bit of it, but I like Twintel and I like Min Min. That's who it was.
Yeah.
Min Min was my main.
Yeah,
I'd
I've
say.
never been good with Min Min because she focuses on these kind of really weird glove types. Um like the dragon laser
I don't use the
thing.
dragon.
Yeah. But yeah, so next up is Splatoon 2. Splatoon 2. Who's got Splatoon 2?
I had to stay away from Splatoon on Wii U. I was not into it. I didn't touch it on the Switch. I probably should have because I feel like I would have liked it, but I did not have this one either.
So no one else
Yeah.
got Splatoon.
No, I played
Nope.
the beta and I said not for me.
Right. Yeah, so I have Splatoon 2. And I would say I was kind of disappointed with it. They really kind of bumped up the single player that they had. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get another cool single player game to play. But it's like, it's really kind of lame, and doesn't really explore its own mechanics that well. And it feels like if Super Mario Galaxy had like a really mediocre, or like not mediocre, but like a really okay sequel or something, where you spray paint everywhere.
Do you mean Sunshine?
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, how is he connecting
Oh.
Galaxy and Splatoon? This is the
That
weirdest.
sounds really good.
Why I picked Galaxy is because Splatoon has a very similar structure to its levels, where you have like
I see what you mean.
these very like control or like small challenges that are all connected by like a cannon in a way.
I think Sunshine might fit better.
No, Sunshine is more 64 style, where you have an open world that you explore.
Yeah, I get what you mean now. In the design, not necessarily the
Yeah.
mechanic of the. Yeah, I gotcha.
So yeah, next up is Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, which oh yeah, that was an announcement back at
Woo.
E3 too, right? Like yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. Okay, yeah, let's go back even further. What was your
Oh, no.
reaction to the Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle leak, where we first saw Rabbid Peach?
Oh, so it was
Horrified.
announced. It was announced at E3, but it wasn't announced at Nintendo's thing. It was announced
Yeah,
at
it was-
Ubisoft's thing.
Ubisoft.
Yeah, but I'm talking
But
about
before that,
the leak
there was
when
the
it happened
leak,
yeah.
beforehand.
Before
Well-
we knew like what it was gonna play like,
Yeah.
it looked awful.
I don't remember how I felt. I was like, what is? Yeah, I can't remember hating it. I remember, what is this? Why are there
Why?
rabbits in Mario, OSP, and
Yeah.
everything? And I remember everybody not being on board, and then the press cons happened, and then something incredible.
Yeah, so my reaction was when we first saw just a singular image of Rabbid Peach, I was like, what is this? Like, I wasn't like offended. I wasn't like, yeah, this is awesome. I was like kind of in the middle. I was like, I don't know what this is. And then the entire image came out of like all the characters, what ended up being like the cover art of the game, right?
Mario's got a gun.
Yeah, and I was like,
What?
I was looking at it like, what is this? And then as I kept looking at it, I was like, this is really awesome. Like this is gonna be cool. So
Huh. Wow.
yeah, so that's kind of how I felt about it.
Just from the art?
Yeah, like I just looked at it and like, huh, this could be cool. Like this could be a cool idea. Like I like when I first saw just Rabbid Peach, it's like, what is this? And then like when I saw the image, like, what is this? But then I kind of realized like, huh, I like the idea of just playing around with the IPs.
So you had the
and-
exact opposite reaction that everyone had, and then you
Yeah, I
played the
did.
game. We're like, it's dadgum numbers and shit. And everyone else
No,
like,
I
this
love
game's
the game.
awesome. Oh, I thought. Oh, okay. Well, the way you made it
love
sound
the game.
earlier is that you
Yeah,
were not
there are
happy with it.
aspects of it that I don't like. I think it's unnecessary, but we'll get to that later. But so at E3, at Ubisoft's press conference, Shigeru Miyamoto comes out and he's like on a stage with Yves Guillemot from Ubisoft, and they both have these kind of replicas of weapons in it, and they're both standing back to back on stage and like, whoa, we're waving these guns around. How do you guys feel about that?
Pretty awesome. Not gonna lie,
Well, I
I was
thought
like, The hype around this is pretty sweet.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
I still don't like that Mario has a gun,
I don't
and
care
they
about
went
that.
to great lengths to like, yeah, you might not care because you're not living in the country that is having a kind of a fucking problem right now. Giving Mario.
It's not like he's holding an AK-47 or something.
Yeah, it's like a kiddie gun. I mean, it's not that
No,
bad.
Yeah, it's like
No,
a
he's-
Mega Man
he's-
arm cannon,
Yeah, it shouldn't. Have you seen the original Mega Man art where they interpreted that as he has a fucking Colt 1911? It is. Oh god, that Nintendo box art's hilarious. But yeah, I know it's that. Well, so in the box art, he's just holding that. There are later guns in the game, and one is a straight up sniper rifle. One is a straight up sniper rifle, and Luigi gets a shotgun. There is some. It's like, oh look, it's cute and funny, and you're like, that's a Springfield. What is that? And he's like, oh look how much fun we're having. And he shoots the rabbit in the head, and you're like, oh, Luigi just mafia'd that motherfucker. Like, oh god.
And then
I mean, there's a difference between like, oh, he's got a gun and it has like the smoke coming out of it and he shot the rabbit, and then there's like, oh my god, he shot that rabbit and he splattered him across the entire map. Like, we're not pushing these like crazy bounds of M-rated games.
I didn't even like when Mario started punching people. I was like, what are you doing, man?
I don't
Like,
really-
it was kinda
Punching
weird.
people is so much better than jumping on their heads.
Yeah, but he's Mario. That's what he does, man. Mario and Galaxy is like, yeah, and he just goes up and just punches someone. I'm like, oh.
anyway, so at this press conference, that's when we also got the meme of "Don't Cry, Ubisoft, man." And that was
Excellent
obviously
I cried too.
the creative director of Mario Plus Rabbids, Davide Soliani, who was sitting in the audience, and he like all this, and what you get to know the guy later, right? When you, at least I did, when we started hearing like more documentary style things about how the creation of this game, and like how far back he had this concept. Like, he had this concept like back in 2010, like, and he's tried to make this game for so long, and finally it happens, and he gets to see like basically his boss and the guy who inspired him to make video games stand on stage behind the image of the game he created. Like, that, I totally understand why he got emotional there, man.
It's a really awesome moment to look back. It's like one of those things that you remember as being like, oh, this is so great for that guy. But then you also like look at the box art of the game. It's like, this is so silly. It's so weird looking.
Yeah, but it was a silly way they presented it too. Like Shigeru Miyamoto and Yves Guillemot just standing there with fake guns. Like,
But that's like the best part about it too. 'Cause it's like, this game's not gonna be serious. It's supposed to be fun.
I still was not sold on it until we saw the gameplay. Cause I was like, what is this? What is this fucking game? Why do they have guns? What is happening here that Mario can't solve in just the regular ways? And then it shows you gameplay, and it's like, this is XCOM. This is straight up XCOM. And then I was like, sold. Mario XCOM, let's do this. And everyone's like, there's no way this game's going to be. It's like, it's a XCOM Lite. It's not XCOM Lite. In fact, it gets really difficult towards the end. And then it beats XCOM at the fucking Video Game Awards and at the DICE Awards. It beats XCOM.
yeah.
That's just because no one played that XCOM.
No, I
thing.
think it's actually
Not
more
true.
because of Mario Plus Rabbids is the first like strategy game in years to bring something new to the genre. Like, if you
It's
look
also
at,
it's very accessible too.
yeah,
Well,
like, it's
hold on,
accessible. It's
what
adding
new did it bring?
I mean, just like some small mechanics like the team jump and the dash mechanic and stuff like that. How you play the game, the fact that the game is more about movement than placement, which
That's
is
kind of.
it's kind of. I mean, it's a very like it's a very different game from other turn-based strategy games, and I think that is, maybe it wasn't, maybe XCOM was better, like maybe it was, but I think the point why Mario Plus Rabbids won is because it was so accessible, it was so new, it was so innovative of a game, and that is why it won. It would try to do something different in a genre that has been so much of the same for a long time.
I didn't think it was necessarily not deserving of it. I'm just think about it. Think about what it is. It is Mario Rabbids, a crossover game that is, kind of XCOM light, and people are like, the only game that can beat this is XCOM. XCOM came out. It's like fucking this game is in the same year. We have these two things, and it's like XCOM. Literally, it was XCOM, and there's another game that kind of invented this type of strategy game. They didn't invent strategy games. This type of strategy game, this soldiers on the ground putting them around, because Civilization is also a real time strategy game. So is Age of Empire. Very different games than XCOM.
You also have to consider the award last year was nominated for the XCOM 2 expansion, War of the Chosen, not for XCOM 2, the base game.
Yeah, I'm sure that
True.
was kind of a thing too. The
even
fact that it
then-
was an expansion and not a game.
Even then, it's weird to see XCOM lose. I'm not saying it doesn't that Mario Rabbids doesn't deserve it. Mario Rabbids is a great game. I'm saying it just looking at it, it's pick one of these two games to win. Without playing, it's like both real time strategy games. You can go, well, Mario has a gun, and there's some weird rabbits in drag, versus the award-winning, just fucking awesome, line of XCOM games we've had. Like, of course, what's gonna win? It's like, which is the best first-person shooter? It's put these two games together. It's like Mario with a gun or Call of Duty. It's like probably Call of Duty's gonna edge it out. And then all of a sudden Mario wins, and you're like, I didn't expect that to happen, especially a Mario game that's not made by Nintendo. That was another thing that it's like one of the better Mario games that's not made by them. Then again, the Mario RPGs kind of always are.
I'm sure there is there is like a section of the internet who are like hardcore XCOM fans, and they hate Mario plus Rabbids more than anything.
No, they were more surprised than anything. It's like, I'm glad we won. It's just, it's weird. It's a Rabbids game. Not that it's a Mario game. I think if it was a Mario game, it's like saying Mario RPG on like the best RPG list. It's like, Mario RPG is a great game. Paper Mario is a great game. It's the fact that this is a Rabbids game as well. Let's take away Mario, and let's just say this was Rabbids. Think about that and just how weird that looks.
Yeah.
Without playing the game, just talking about it's like Rabbids with guns shooting people, and you're like, there's no way this game's gonna be good. This game, it's Rabbids, man. Okay, now we take Rabbids out, put minions in. Now think about how weird that would be, and it beats XCOM. It's weird on the surface. Now the actual game there is actually great. It's really weird. It's a weird year. It was a weird year.
So the next game after Mario plus Rabbids was Fire Emblem Warriors. Did anyone get Fire Emblem Warriors?
No.
I am not a Fire Emblem person, so I could not. As much as I love Hyrule Warriors, I didn't get Fire Emblem.
I didn't get Fire Emblem Warriors either.
I love Fire Emblem. It's just,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something different between your favorite Fire Emblem characters, and you get to be in the Warriors game, and I'm like, huh. That doesn't sound nearly as fun as you want to be Ganon and just fucking, rock bottom some goddamn, fucking moblins and shit. It's like, yeah, I'll do. But it's like Fire Emblem Warriors is kind of a more serious game than Zelda.
I think the biggest problem with
Fire
Fire Emblem
Emblem.
Warriors is that Fire Emblem is a lot more generic medieval fantasy than Zelda is. Zelda is a lot more creative with what it tries to do. Sure, it is kind of set in that medieval fantasy kind of time genre place, but Fire Emblem is a lot more like generic in terms of that. So when you put that into a Warriors game, it's like, oh, there's not really anything that differentiates this from any other game in this genre.
A lot more enemies in Zelda canon.
Yeah.
Also, I think Zelda's done more. Like, just Zelda's kind of gone outside the box in a lot of different ways. That it's more accepting of. I remember when Hyrule Warriors was announced, and people were like, "This is weird." Like, okay, we're gonna give it a chance because it's got Zelda on it, and I gotta buy it, and it turned out to be a good game. Fire Emblem Warriors is like, I don't want this.
Fire Emblem is also way more
Fire
niche,
Emblem
than Zelda. But I also want to preface by saying I said Fire Emblem is generic. I like Fire Emblem. I'm not trying to trash it or anything. It's just like Zelda is a lot more unique. That's what I'm
He
saying.
hates it. There's numbers.
Yeah, I think where like
menus.
I think where Fire Emblem excels in its traditional fantasy genre. Like you just can't compare it to Zelda because Zelda is its own
Yeah.
universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like saying Zelda is medieval is weird. Like it's not really medieval because when I think about medieval, I think about like these kind of steel armor and brick castles and all that. And it's not really, it doesn't really look like that, even though there are brick castles and steel armors. But that's not what you think about when you think about Zelda, right?
Yeah, it just doesn't have that tone where like
Yeah.
in the Fire Emblem, like feudal, factions of enemy, like armies of the soldiers are fighting each other.
Yeah.
It's not really the same.
So let's jump into the most exciting game in the Switch's library. Maybe that's a controversial statement, but Super
That
Mario
is.
Odyssey, which was my game of the year last year.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
With Zelda Breath of the Wild, like if there was 2 spots for game of the year, they would definitely both have it. But I'm like, oh my god, I don't know which one to put at number 1.
I keep people saying that Super Mario Odyssey is derivative. It's like, oh, it's derivative on like Breath of the Wild, and I'm like, really? All those other Mario games where I could possess someone with my fucking hat. Like, yes, I remember that the all-time mechanic of being able to do that shit and fly around in a blimp that also looks like a hat and shit. But I could say that Breath of the Wild is derivative. Yes, every other Zelda where I wander around a world map and go fight shit and go to dungeons and try to beat Ganon. That's every Zelda game except for like Minish Cap and and one where you get the fish. What is that? What is that game? Is that Minish Cap or is that one of the Capcom ones? Link's Awakening. There we go.
Link's Awakening was not like.
I don't
Well,
think
that's
that's a
Nintendo.
Capcom one.
Capcom did Minish Cap and
Yeah.
They did the
Ages.
Oracle games.
yes,
Yeah.
the one with the fish on the mountain is Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But besides those are the only ones that are sort of different, like in boss terms. But like, yeah, every Zelda is kind of an open world. You go explore, you go to dungeons and shit, and you go do stuff. Now, here's the thing. Breath of the Wild is an amazing game, but people being like, "Oh, Mario shouldn't get it because it's just like other Mario games," and I'm like, "What Mario game have you played where you could do this shit? Yes, you
Yeah.
jump on shit. You know what else you do? You possess stuff with your hat.
Yeah,
That
and
changes
also-
the game."
Yeah, also
Man,
like also how the game is designed. Like they instead of, and this goes back to like how Breath of the Wild is designed too. Like there is no there are like nothing in Super Mario Odyssey that prevents you from sequence breaking. Like the game is designed with sequence breaking in mind. Like if you, I don't know if you know this, but you know how like pretty much every world ends with an encounter with like one of the brutals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, I know very well.
Yeah, and you don't actually have to fight them. Like you can just go pick up other moons and go away, and there's actually like this little cutscene of Bowser's like boat thing just sailing away. Like you don't actually have to go to them. Like they
Huh.
and the fact that
Didn't
they
know
put
that.
this in the game.
Fought everyone. Oh shit. That changes everything.
And also just like this very simple part where you're in the Sand Kingdom, for instance, and you start climbing this kind of the ruins that are like in the middle of the map for the first time, and you're like, okay, I'm kind of running through this thing, and there are those like sand geysers, and you go into the wall and you jump up, and then you kind of go through that. But then when you play the game again, you realize like, I don't actually have to go through all this. You can do all these like crazy jump maneuvers to kind of do what the thing that took like 10 minutes to go through. You can do it in like 2 minutes. And just
Sand Kingdom was good.
yeah, and just the fact that Odyssey is designed in this way all over the game, where there's literally nothing that's stopping you from using all of these shortcuts. The only thing that stops you is your actual skill and knowledge of the different moves that Mario can perform. If you were to jump into Super Mario Odyssey and you knew all the moves that he can do, like there are like so many different ways that you can jump around and do things. So, yeah, I really like that kind of design in the game, and that's why I really like Odyssey. But I also like Breath of the Wild because it's designed the same way. So it's very hard for me to pick between them. So yeah, anyone else have anything to say about Mario Odyssey?
Yeah, I do. I think I also gave my game of the year to Super Mario Odyssey, even though I am such a big Zelda fan, and that's probably why. But Odyssey specifically, like every level is open and amazingly designed in that way, over and over and over again, on top of this crazy new mechanic of being able to go in, like, possess all the different things on that level. In this, like, there's water and there's sand and there's like a food place and there's the moon and that changes your gravity, and then there's the Mushroom Kingdom and there's stars. There's no Delfino Plaza, but hopefully we'll get that eventually. And
You won't.
I hope we do. Just I hate.
No.
I didn't like
Sunshine's not
Sunshine.
great.
I didn't like Sunshine, but I want it in Odyssey because
Yeah,
Odyssey's
I want
actually good.
Delfino
I love
Plaza. I
Sunshine.
love Delfino Plaza.
can't-
But there's just something magical about every little aspect throughout Odyssey, like in
Yeah.
every way.
Odyssey did something that Breath of the Wild didn't, and that is, I do think Breath of the Wild is certainly deserving of that. I don't. It's not like arguing whether PUBG should get it. It's like, nah, fuck you. But like, Breath of the Wild, I definitely think deserved all the awards. But and I love PUBG, and I'm saying that PUBG is a broken ass game, but Breath of the Wild is almost perfect, and so is Super Mario Odyssey. So seeing either one of them there, it doesn't bother me. But what Odyssey did that Breath of the Wild didn't was every single moment of Mario Odyssey was ecstasy. It's like, I can't believe this is fucking happening right now, and you're happy, and you're like, jump up, and you're singing and shit, you're moving in your chair and everything. Breath of the Wild, there are moments where I'm like, fuck this game, fuck this game. It's like, there's
it is impossible. It is impossible to play Odyssey without smiling.
It's
like
such a good game.
If you out there has played Mario Odyssey from start to finish without smiling once, you are dead.
unless you're Nick Scarpino.
Just once.
He's like, Mario Odyssey's not that great, and I'm like, fuck you. Why are you on this team?
Yeah. It's a
Every time
losing
Scarpino
team.
Doesn't understand.
He's like, The Departed sucks. Super Mario Odyssey's not good. Black Panther's not that important. I'm like, you need to leave. You need to.
Yeah.
Everything you say is wrong.
So, talking about the because did anyone play Xenoblade Chronicles 2?
No.
Nah, I'm not much of a JRPG
didn't really like
person.
the first one.
Yeah, I didn't play it either. So let's get to the awards season that happened, because let's be honest, Nintendo kind of dominated. And did you guys watch the DICE Awards that happened recently?
It's in my backlog. I didn't watch it.
Well,
live.
I didn't watch them, but I know about all the award winners.
It is so funny because Nate Bildorf from the Nintendo Treehouse, he he goes up on stage probably like 10 times, and he was obviously called like Nintendo guy because he accepted every award from that Nintendo got. It was pretty funny, honestly. And every time it came up, it's like, hello again. But what was cool is that he had something to say about literally every award that Nintendo won. So it was
almost
really
like
cool.
they knew they were gonna win. They prepared.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously, like kind of talk very quickly about like the awards. So I just have to say the fact that PUBG was nominated for Game of the fucking Year offends me.
I agree.
Like, let's look at it. Like, I wasn't like there were so many games that were complete, that were not buggy pieces of crap. I'm not saying PUBG is bad. I haven't played it, but like, I'm saying like there were so many games that were actually complete products that so many people spent so much time to make, and they deserved the spot more than PUBG did. PUBG could have been nominated for next Game of the Year. Like, but people were so fucking I don't know.
Well, here's
Go
the thing.
ahead.
Not even next game of the year because it did have an official release. It got to 1.0 on PC. It is not 1.0 on Xbox One, and I
Yeah,
played
but
it a lot on the Xbox One. But
it
here's
got.
why it shouldn't win.
Hold on. One thing before it got its 1.0 release after the Game Awards cutoff date, so it shouldn't even be nominated. That's like it should have been a 20. It should have been classified as a 2018 game.
Yeah, and it better not be nominated next year as well
Oh,
because of this
yeah.
weird shenanigans.
Oh my god.
So
I
I
don't-
will
I
say that I'm not a big PUBG fan. I haven't played it. We play Fortnite sometimes, but it's totally different. But the sheer amount of buzz and people playing PUBG, even if it wasn't fully released in 2017, means that it had enough traction that it should have
Yeah.
at least gotten nominated.
Yeah,
if it had
like-
won,
No, it
I
just means
probably
it's
would have had a
popular,
problem.
not good.
I don't actually.
Yeah, but if
have-
it's popular enough, then that means something.
It doesn't matter if it's popular. Heroin is popular. It doesn't get nominated as the best fucking drug ever. Look, here's the thing. Look, PUBG.
Yeah,
I
go
do
ahead.
think it's a good. I do think it's good in terms. Actually, no, fuck that. I don't think it's good. I love playing it. It's addictive. It gives you something that a lot of games don't. In terms of game mechanics, it's broken as fuck. It doesn't
Yeah.
work. It
Well, what
literally
I-
does not work. You can run this thing with two goddamn Titans, the best fucking computer rig ever in the world, and it runs like shit. It is not well optimized. It doesn't work. The shooting is terrible. Its online functionality barely works, and this game has so much money going into it that it should work. This is not
Yeah.
this is not early access bullshit anymore. They have a game that's literally 1.0 and it can barely run. If Nintendo released a game like this,
Yeah.
they would be lambasted. If
Exactly.
Microsoft did this and actually did with Master Chief Collection, with the same online
Yeah, and Master Chief
shenanigans,
Collection
it would
was
be-
actually a finished game. It was just like the online that didn't work, but still, like
this it doesn't make sense to me that this game should even be nominated.
Yeah.
Is it popular? Yes, but so is fucking Solitaire. There is. It doesn't matter how popular something is. If that
Yeah,
if
I
it
wanna-
did, then the Avengers would have won Best Picture.
yeah, I want to
Look,
clarify.
it-
I want to clarify something. Actually don't think a game being early access should prevent it from being nominated for Game of the Year. But I do think that PUBG shouldn't have been nominated, not because it's an early access game, but because it's not finished. And
well,
like,
early
a game
access
can
means not
be-
finished.
the thing is, a game can be in early access and be like not, quote unquote not finished, but it could be essentially finished. But PUBG has so many fucking problems, and it's janky as hell. And there are so many other games that could have gotten that nomination that were actually
Well-
finished, that were actually consistent games, that were actually not janky as shit, that were actually like mechanically competent video games. And yeah, that's why I don't think
When
PUBG
I
should
see
have been
those
nominated.
lists of the video game awards and even the DICE awards, when I saw PUBG and I saw PUBG getting 10 out of 10s and shit like that, and I'm like, what
Yeah.
game are you playing?
Oh my
And
god.
I understand that 10 out of 10 doesn't mean a perfect game. I do understand that. It
Yeah.
does not mean perfect game,
Definitely doesn't.
but it means like a game that you love the most or some bullshit. It look because this game is not it's not finished. It is
Yeah.
literally not finished. If you put a movie out that was not finished
You'll be
and be like, oh, it'll be finished later, but you put it out and said pay money and shit for it, people would lose their goddamn mind. But also, it's not just that it's unfinished. It's that it's unfinished in ways that they just don't seem to want to make it work. And it's possible. And you know how I know it's possible to make this game run well and look good and just work almost flawlessly? Because Epic Games did it in a weekend.
Yeah.
Epic
Yeah,
Games.
but the engine that they built Fortnite in took them like 5 years.
Oh, here's the thing. By the way, the same engine that runs Fortnite runs PUBG. It's the
Yeah,
Unreal
they're
4
both
engine.
running on Unreal Engine 4.
But
So,
sorry, when I say
so-
engine, I mean the actual foundation of the Save the World Fortnite game. It's not like they just built it out of nowhere because we need to make PUBG. And PUBG's only been
Yeah.
out 1 year. They're still building it.
Well, okay.
I'm not being an apologist for PUBG because I have no affinity for it.
Anyway,
But
we need to keep going. We're starting to run
Yeah,
out of
PUBG
time.
is
Fortnite
not
should have
even on the
been nominated.
Switch, so.
Is my point.
Yeah.
is that if it's gonna get nominated, Fortnite should have been nominated. That's the.
But yeah, so basically, my point was to talk a little bit more about Nintendo's involvement in the awards, but I think we need to move on a little bit here. And yeah, so we're basically at modern day now, right? So, does anyone want to talk about Bayonetta 1 and 2 on Switch? Yes.
Good.
Yeah, I love those
Good.
games. Good to see him again.
I bought Bayonetta 1 and tried it, and it's like I'm just not into like extreme anime, and I'm gonna try to play it a little bit more, but
Just
yeah.
play the game. Like, just skip the cutscenes.
Yeah. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, the game's cool. I'm gonna try to give it some more time. All right, so now we're at modern day. So the future of the Switch. How do you wanna do this? I guess the next game is Kirby Star Allies. How are you guys feeling about that?
I haven't played it, so I don't know. I mean, it looks good.
Yeah, I've yet to play the demo, but I've been aching for something new on the Switch and a Kirby game. I haven't played a Kirby game in a while. Some of the 3DS ones kind of fell flat, and the DS ones, but I might give it a shot.
Yeah.
I mean, Kirby games are consistently good. Not great, but Kirby games are consistently good, so I expect it to be good.
Yeah.
It's been a while since a Kirby game has kind of just been shat on by everybody, so it's no air ride, but you can always hope.
It's no Air Ride. I agree. Air Ride is the best Kirby game.
Yes, because it was made by the guy who made Smash Brothers. Of course it was. It's amazing. Back when he used to make Kirby games.
Where's the sound coming from?
It's coming from me, but I can't get out of my chair. It'll stop at a minute.
Can't get out of your...
All right. I mean, all right. I played the demo just kind of quickly. I wasn't really a fan of it. I mean, I tried Kirby games before, and yeah, I personally like when I want to on a platformer, I want like precise and like skilled platforming, like Mario or stuff like that. But Kirby's kind of more combat focused, and I didn't really like the feel of the combat and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'm gonna get it or not, honestly. But after that, what's up next? Is there anything between Kirby and the Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze?
I don't think so.
I'm looking right now, and the only thing that I can see of note looks like Nintendo Labo.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, Labo. I
Yeah.
fucking forgot about that, man. How do you guys feel about Labo?
Woo!
Don't
It's
care.
it's weird,
Alright.
but
Make
I'm
fun.
not opposed.
I'm so fucking
not for
in
me.
love in Nintendo Labo. Fuck, man, I really want it, and
It,
I'm
makes you read.
like I just don't know which one I'm gonna get. Do I get the variety pack? Do I get the robot pack?
Yes.
Like
Oh,
I
come
want
on, you
both
gotta
of
go
them.
Robo.
I want both of them. Like the gameplay that I've seen of the robot kit thing, like you're standing in this like robot suit and you're like physically walking, you punch and you can fly and oh my god,
Gonna
it's
make
so awesome.
so much goddamn money off of this thing, man.
Oh man. Yeah.
There's no overhead. There's nothing. It's cardboard, and it's gonna sell like fucking hotcakes. It's gonna be so good.
I mean,
Makes me happy that
and like a lot of people have been talking about like, oh, it's overpriced and shit. Like, I don't think the cardboard part is overpriced. I think the game part is overpriced, if anything, because let's be honest, like even 1-2 Switch was a $50 game. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if they would remove all the cardboard. It wouldn't surprise me if Nintendo would charge $50 or $60 for the robot kit, for just a robot game itself, and
Yeah,
then
for sure.
the cardboard is just like $10-$20 above that.
I don't think it's all that expensive because I've bought arts and crafts stuff, and let me tell you, it is not cheap. It is incredibly expensive. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go there and I want to get some stuff because I want to make like a just like a little sculpture, and I've spent $500. Oh my god, who knew clay was so expensive? So like when I see this stuff, people are like, "Oh, I can't believe you're charging that much for cardboard." I'm like, "Have you never gone to the arts and crafts section in a Walmart?" Because I believe it 100%. In fact, I believe they could charge more. The fact that they're not is telling me that most of that price is on the game. So and seeing those live builds that they did where they let people test it,
Yeah.
I'm really excited. I think it's gonna break immediately when I get my hands on it because I break shit. But what this will do for the company and what this will do for the industry as a whole, I think it's gonna make a lot of money. And
Yeah.
I also think it's really good for kids. I
Yeah.
like the idea of it. I may never use it all that much,
Yeah, like
but
I
it
can
makes me
imagine
happy.
I can imagine like 10 years from now, like you talk to a person who's like, "Oh, I started playing piano because of Nintendo Labo. I I
You see
became
the
an
shit that piano does?
yeah, like
Oh my,
and like
it's crazy.
yeah, like I became a musician because of it. I became an architect because I loved building Labo. Like all of these things, like you're gonna see people in the future who were inspired to become what they are then because of Labo. And even like the
Also,
Toy-Con
watch.
Garage thing where you were literally gonna reprogram your Toy-Cons and the Joy-Cons and all this stuff. Like people will become programmers because of this. It's like
This
so
this
much.
this thing is going to revolutionize. It's going to change the game. It's like and Nintendo's going to change the game with fucking cardboard somehow, but they're going to do it and it's going to work. And it, it makes this is one of those things that actually makes me mad because I am very very happy. I do think it's a great thing. Nintendo figured out a way to literally change the industry with cardboard. It's going to change the industry. It's going to do so much good in the world. I can see that because arts and crafts do so much with kids and it teaches them. But like kids who want to be engineers don't even know it yet. You're gonna find out when you get your hands on a fucking robot and fucking
Yeah.
from Nintendo. However, they can't figure out a goddamn online infrastructure to save their life. They don't understand why. Why is it so bad? You gotta use voice chat with your phone, the stupid Splatoon headset. It's like they're over here. They're so many light years ahead. They forgot how to do stuff like regular stuff.
Yeah.
It's like they built the supercar but forgot how to walk. It's like I don't understand why. Why is it so hard, Nintendo, for you to figure out what voice chat is? It's not that hard. It's literally not that hard. Discord does it. We're doing this on Discord.
Yeah.
It doesn't take up that much data. It's not hard to code. It's very very simple. Now to do it well could be a different thing, but it's speaking from one end to the other. Transporting voice has been something we've been doing for well over 100 years. I don't know if it's gotten. No, it's not 200 yet. That was the late 1800s. But like that was with the fucking telephone. And I mean, we figured the shit out, and they can't figure it. It's like voice chat. Oh, we don't know how that works and everything. I'm like, Nintendo, you were the
So,
only guys.
We need to start wrapping things up here. So let's get it into the upcoming games here. So yeah, let's just quickly. Who's excited for Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze?
I skipped out on it in the Wii U, but I think I regret it, so I will probably
skip
get it
out
on
now.
Switch. Yeah, I think
I
I'm
didn't
gonna
like
go
it.
for it.
I'm gonna say it right now. It is the best platformer of all time.
Oh my god. I got through one world of that game and I stopped. I never played again. I didn't like it. It's not.
Oh,
for
it's
me.
hard. It's
Well,
hard.
I
That's why they
love-
gave you this bullshit character that can't die.
Yeah,
with
right.
Funky Kong.
It wasn't. I didn't think it was that fun. I played the first one on the Wii, but Tropical Freeze didn't work for me.
And I love it. I love how I love how Donkey Kong feels. I love his weight that he feels so heavy, and yeah, I love that.
That's
all the sounds.
That's on the contrary. That's the thing that's holding me back because I played some of the Donkey Kong Country games, the older ones, and I couldn't really get into them. I was hoping that maybe the level design
I couldn't get into
Tropical Freeze would get me through it, but I don't know.
I couldn't get. I haven't been able to start playing the older country games. To be honest, like I've tried to play the first one multiple times, but I just don't like how Donkey Kong feels to control. Like he feels so like not finished to me, and like the moment I started playing, like I remember getting Donkey Kong Country Returns on Wii, and like to me, like back then when I didn't give credit to GameStar much, I was like, yeah, this is cool. And then like in hindsight, like now when I'm someone who really appreciates good game design and all that, like I'm just, oh my god, this is so good. This is so good. Like, oh my god, it's so fucking awesome. And recently replayed Donkey Country Returns on the Dolphin emulator, and like, fuck, this is so good, so good, and I can't wait to play Country.
For future of the Switch, are we just gonna talk about games, or are we gonna talk about where because that's where I was harping on, was that's how I was trying to start a segue into the online infrastructure, because where is it? Well, I thought we were gonna get. I mean, didn't they announce a release date not too long ago? Like, we're a year in, and we don't have anything really.
Yeah, that's like, the thing. We're approaching 2 hours here, and
oh yeah, well I know. I was just I thought we were gonna hit on that.
Yeah, that's the thing too. I wanted to hit on that as well, but
it's the big elephant in the room because it's gone.
Yeah, we have talked about the online in a previous episode, so I don't think we need to talk about it that much.
And they said they were going to talk about it before the end of the year, so I mean that's not a whole lot we can do with that.
Yeah,
what's 2 years into a system's life to start talking about online?
It's another delay. It's like it's not coming out.
Yeah, I've said before, like I think there are a lot of evidence towards the fact that the Switch was rushed out of production to hit the Zelda release date, because first, like, there were rumors, I think in the original Eurogamer leak, they knew they were gonna put a Tegra processor in it, but he didn't know if they were gonna pick the X1 or the X2, and it was revealed later that it was the X1, and I don't know if it was announced or like there was some rumor who said that the reason they picked the X1 was because the X2 wouldn't be out in time, and that tells me that, like, wow, they really needed to get this out on time, and they I think X2 was out like a couple of months later, like after they had to start production and all that, so that tells me, like, shit, they were really on a tight schedule. And I think you can see on the Switch OS as well, like, it is so bare bones, but I think that actually came out in his favor, instead of having this really convoluted and bogged down UI like the Wii U. So but yeah, the fact that they don't have a substantial, like, good online system is because they had to kind of work on the essentials and get it out the door as quick as possible. I also think that is kind of why we've gotten such frequent updates to it as well. So yeah, and especially since they're gonna start charging for the thing when the full online service comes out, I think they might actually have something really good. Right? I hope.
We'll see.
I hope, man.
More friend codes.
I mean, Nintendo has to know that they can't charge for this bullshit that we have right now. Like, people are not gonna be happy about paying for that, you know? And in fact, like, I think people could be actually, like, protesting against that and, like, not gonna pay for it. So
it's funny because they said that they asked it was a DNA, as like a mobile developer, it was, or people who work with cell phones and shit, was gonna help them with this, and everyone's like, oh, maybe they'll be better. And then this whole weird connect your phone bullshit through this weird Splatoon fucking headset. It's like, have you guys ever held a cell phone? Like, do you know what a cell phone is? Do you know how this voice chat works? Because from my view, like, you don't know.
Yeah.
You've ever been outside.
I feel like what happened with the cell phone thing is that they were like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if you could just use your phone for chat? And they was like, oh yeah, that would be pretty cool. Everyone has a phone. And then they started developing it. It's like, oh yeah. And then just gradually they started realizing how it was not going to be a good idea. But at that point, it was too late to go back. So they just had to go with the concept.
What sucks is there's a good idea in that. There's actually a really good idea. Not in the voice chat bullshit, but this is a mobile console. Well, what if you want to play on the internet? Well, don't you have this fucking brick in your pocket that also is connected to the internet? Here's a cord. Connect your phone. Now you got the internet. Like, that's kind of a brilliant idea, because there's no other console you can really do that to, besides unless you tether it. But, like, it works off your cell phone. You want to play a little, match or whatever, and it works. but then they were like went the other direction with it, and somehow we got to where we are now. But
Yeah.
I don't know. There's got to be some ex-Microsoft employees or something you could pick up. It's like it's not like there aren't people out here who have done this stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, I think is there really what else would there be? There's kind of a major thing coming out that we need to talk about because we kind of we talked a little bit about Metroid and Pokemon back at the E3 conversations.
Wolfenstein 2 is still coming
In
out.
terms of first party, it's limited. to
Oh, first party.
yeah. Because we talked about Labo, we talked about the online. I think we're pretty much.
I think that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just a bunch of like random talkings of like stuff like the Fire Emblem, Yoshi, unnamed stuff, Bayonetta 3,
Yeah.
but Mario Tennis Aces.
People.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that.
Oh yeah, tennis. Yeah.
It's coming out this spring. I actually, because when I watch trailers, I really just kind of block out the release date. I don't really know why. Because you've watched this thing and you're like really excited for it, and then you just kind of miss the
'Cause there's
number at
numbers
the
in
end.
it.
So yeah, I didn't realize that it was coming out this soon, actually. But yeah, and the rumor is June 22nd, actually. Technically, June 22nd is the first day of summer.
That's the summer.
But yeah, I mean, companies have
I think that's
very.
I think that's a
vague.
tentative release date.
Yeah.
Like it go like kind of like it says 2018, and it's December 31st. 2018.
No,
like it's coming out
thing
2018.
is-
They said 31st. Of,
the thing is that
December.
June 22nd is a Friday. And Nintendo releases their games on Fridays.
Eh.
And it also makes sense because last year they released ARMS at a very similar time. So I mean it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, we don't know. But yeah, we've hit the 2-hour mark here. So how about we finish things up? So thanks for listening, and where can people find you, Stampy?
At Stampy Nose on Twitter.com or YouTube.com/Stampy Nose Gaming or Twitch.tv/Stampy Nose Gaming.
All right, and Ben, where can people find you at?
I'm on Twitter at TGF_KirbyLink. Don't ask too many questions. It's already long enough show. I stream Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific, twitch.tv/BenReacts. And I'm actually this month going to try speedrun my favorite game, Resident Evil 4. That's the fun times happening.
Sweet. And Eric?
I'm not even gonna try and get you guys to go to my Twitter. It's a ridiculous handle, but you can find our whole channel, all of us, on a youtube.com/GameSideGuys. It sounds just like it's spelled, and patreon.com/GameSideGuys, because we are very close to getting our own podcast on iTunes and all those things. So that'd be a big help.
Sweet. All right, and you can find me at Dennis_Lofgren on Twitter. You can follow the channel at Rebreak Radio on Twitter, and please join the Rebreak Network Discord group. You can find a link to that in the description. Yeah, the podcast is now on iTunes. Please go check it out, or technically Apple Podcast. But no one knows what Apple Podcast means. But yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see you again next week. Bye.